Santa Barbara. Good morning, Iloilo. Good morning, Philippines. This pre-bid conference urges you to actualize the two meanings. Before you come here and the moment you receive the requirements, you were encouraged to immediately start thinking and pattern your bid to what it is written in the requirements. And of course, you have to say a prayer. Shall we pray? Lord, you have entrusted us as stewards of your creation. Please guide our hearts as we make our decisions. We seek you first in all we do together. We give you our bidders, our suppliers, our stakeholders, and our workforce. May we be always mindful of their service. We confess that we are nothing without you, and our trust is in you completely. This is our prayer. In Jesus' name, amen. Our procurement head, Engineer Elna Nepomuceno, will now call the roll.
Good morning once again. May I present to you the members of Bids and Awards Committee of Iloilo 4th District Engineering Office, headed by Engineer Sentia C. Caigoy as back chairperson, Engineer Eva Isbidonia as back vice chairperson, Engineer Jaime E. Sumagaysay, back provisional member, Engineer Madonna May S. Sadaba, back provisional member, end user for construction projects, and Ms. DBL Amper as back secretariat member. May I turn over this to Engineer Sentia C. Caigoy for our pre-bid conference.
Good morning once again. Since the members of the Bids and Awards Committee are in quorum, I declare this pre-bid conference for civil works to order. We have 9 contracts to be pre-bid this morning. We have a contract ID number 24GI0048, construction of multipurpose building, Sitio, Banglid, Barangay Pajo, Zarraga, Iloilo. Location, Zarraga, Iloilo. Funding source, FY 2024, General Appropriation Act, RA number 11975. Scope of works, construction of multipurpose building, 15.5 meter by 25 meter covered gym with 5-span footing, column, tie beam, slab, painting, roof framing, roofing with storm drainage and downspout, and electrical works. Glass fiber ring with ring holder as per plan and specification. And the approved budget for the contract is 4,950,000 with 138 calendar days contract duration. Then we have contract ID number 24GI0049, construction of multipurpose building, Pajo, Alimodian. Funding source, FY 2024 General Appropriation Act, RA number 11975. Scope of works, construction of multipurpose building, 15.5 meter by 28 meter covered gym with 5-span footing, column, tie beam, roof framing, roofing and downspout, and electrical works. Glass fiber ring with ring holder as per plan and specification. And the approved budget for the contract is 4,950,000 with 140 calendar days contract duration. We have contract ID 24GI0050, construction of multipurpose building, Barangay Manasa, Alimodian, Iloilo. Location, Alimodian, Iloilo, with funding source of FY 2024 General Appropriation Act, RA number 11975, with the scope of works, construction of multipurpose building gym with 16 meters by 30 meters dimension, with electrical works and masonry painting on columns as per plan and specification, with approved budget for the contract of 4,950,000 and with 190 calendar days contract duration. Then we have contract ID number 24GI0051, construction of multipurpose building, Barangay Umingan, Alimodian, Iloilo. Location, Alimodian, Iloilo, with funding source, FY 2024 General Appropriation Act, RA number 11975, with scope of works, construction of multipurpose building gym with 16 meters by 30 meters dimension, with electrical works and hauling cost as per plan and specification. And we have 4,950,000 approved budget for the contract and 190 calendar days contract duration. Then we have contract ID number 24GI0052, construction of multipurpose building, Cabacanan Elementary School, Alimodian, Iloilo. Location, Alimodian, Iloilo. Funding source, FY 2024 General Appropriation Act, RA number 11975. Scope of works, construction of multipurpose building with 16 meters, 25 meters dimension, concreting of slab, masonry painting of columns and wall, and electrical works as per plan and specification, with the approved budget for the contract of 4,950,000 and with 158 calendar days contract duration. We have a contract ID number 24GI0053, construction of multipurpose building, Barangay DEO, Alimodian, Iloilo, with location, Alimodian, Iloilo, and funding source, FY 2024 General Appropriation Act, RA number 11975. Scope of work, construction of multipurpose building, 14.5 meter by 26 meter covered gym with 5-span footing, column, tie beam, SOF, roofing with storm drainage and downspout, and electrical works, glass fiber ring with ring holder as per plan and specification. With approved budget for the contract, 4,950,000. And for the contract duration, we have 162 calendar days. Then we have contract ID number 24GI0054, construction of multipurpose building, Barangay Salngan, Leon, Iloilo. Funding source, FY 2024 General Appropriation Act, RA number 11975. Construction of multipurpose building, 15 meter by 28 meter covered gym with 7-span footing, column, tie beams, SOF roof framing, a roofing with storm drainage and downspout, and electrical works, glass fiber ring with ring holder as per plan and specification. With approved budget for the contract, 4,950,000 and 169 calendar days contract duration. Then we have contract ID number 24GI055, construction of multi-purpose building, Cawilihan, Leon, Iloilo. Location, Leon, Iloilo. Funding source, FY 2024 General Appropriation Act, RA number 11975, with the scope of works, construction of multi-purpose building, gym, with 15 meter by 28 meter dimension, overlaying the existing concrete slab with 100 millimeter concrete, painting of columns with howling as per plan and specification. And we have approved budget for the contract, 4,950,000 and 166 calendar days contract duration. Then we have contract ID number 24GI0056, construction completion of multipurpose building, Barangay Bulod, Alimodian, Iloilo, with a funding source of FY 2024 General Appropriation Act, RA number 11975, with the scope of works, construction of multipurpose building, 16 meter by 10 meter covered gym, with 2-span footing, column, tie beam, SOF, our roof framing, roofing, ring holder with ring with 2 side storms, drainage, and electrical works as per plan and specs. Approved budget for the contract is 2,970,000 with 100 calendar days contract duration.
Okay, for eligibility requirements, Class A documents. We have the legal documents, technical documents, and financial documents. And for Class B documents, for joint venture. For Class A documents, legal documents. Registration certificate from the Securities and Exchange Commission, Department of Trade and Industry for sole proprietorship or Cooperative Development Authority for cooperatives. Mayor's or business permit issued by the city or municipality where the principal place of business of the prospective bidder is located, or the equivalent document for exclusive economic zones or areas. Tax clearance per Executive Order 398, Series of 2005, as finally reviewed and approved by the Bureau of Internal Revenue. For technical documents, valid pickup license or special pickup license in case of joint venture, and registration for the type and cost of the contract to be bid. For contract ID 24 GI 0048, GI 0049, GI 0050, GI 0051, GI 0052, GI 0053, GI 0054, GI 0055, and GI 0056 for license category C and D. Kind of project GB-1, building or industrial plant, with the small b for size range. Statement of the bidder of all its ongoing government and private contracts, including awarded but not yet started, if any, whether similar or not similar in the nature and complexity to the contract to be bid. Statement of the bidder's single largest completed contract or SLCC, similar to the contract to be bid. Under that, we have adjusted to current prices using Philippine Statistic Authority. Consumers' price indices must be at least 50% of the ABC to be bid, provided, however, the contractors under small a and small b categories without similar experience on the contract to be bid may be allowed to bid if the cost of such contract is not more than the allowable range of contract cost of the registration based on the guidelines as prescribed by the pickup. A contract shall be considered similar to the contract to be bid if it has the following categories. For contract ID 24 GI 0048, 0049, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, and 56. Major category of works, buildings, construction without piles, low-rise concrete frame, 1 to 5 story. Similar categories of work, building, construction with piles, high-rise concrete frame, cast-in-place piles. Buildings, construction with piles, low-rise concrete frame, cast-in-place piles. Buildings, construction with piles, high-rise, concrete frame, driven piles. Buildings, construction with piles, low-rise, concrete frame, driven piles. Buildings, construction without piles, high-rise, concrete frame. Buildings, industrial plant, low-rise. Buildings, industrial plant, high-rise. Buildings, industrial plant, medium-rise. For financial documents, the bidder's audited financial statements showing, among others, the bidder's total and current assets and liabilities stamped received by the BIR or its duly accredited and authorized institution for the preceding calendar year, which should not be earlier than 2 years from the date of bid submission. The bidder's computation of net financial contracting capacity must be at least equal to approved budget for the contract computed using the prescribed formula. NFCC is equals to current assets minus current liabilities times 15 minus the value of all outstanding or uncompleted portion of the projects under ongoing contracts, including awarded contracts yet to be started, coinciding with the contract to be bid. The value of the domestic bidder's current assets and current liabilities shall be based on the latest audited financial statements submitted to the BIR. For Class B documents or for joint venture, valid joint venture agreement in accordance with RA 4566 and its IRR. Each partner of the joint venture shall submit their respective fieldship certificates of registration in accordance with Section 8.5.2 of this IRR. The submission of the technical and financial eligibility documents by any of the joint venture partners constitutes compliance, provided that the partner responsible to submit the NFCC shall likewise submit the statement of all of its ongoing contract and audited financial statement.
For submission and receipt of bids, for the first envelope, for the technical proposal, and the second envelope for the financial proposal. One original copy of the first technical and the second, the financial envelope for each bid. Note, prior to the sale For bidding documents, only the following documents are required from the prospective bidders to it: the company ID or any government-issued ID, authorization letter, if not authorized liaison officer in the CWA, the special power of attorney for sole proprietorship or board partnership, joint venture, resolution with secretary's certificate for corporation, partnership, joint venture, and cooperative. The content of the first envelope, the technical proposal. Valid and updated certificate of LGIP's registrations under the Platinum membership in compliance to GPPB Resolution 15-2021 dated October 14, 2021. Issued in accordance with amended Section 8.5.2 of the 2016 revised RRR of RA 9184. The PCAB license and registration, the special PCAB license if joint venture. Statement of all ongoing government and private contracts. Statement of SLCC, the NFCC computation, and the GBA if applicable. The original copy of the bid security in the prescribed form, amount, and validity period. If the form of the security bond submitted also the certifications issued by the Insurance Commission or original copy of notarized bid securing declaration. The bid validity period, the 120 calendar days from the date of submission of bids. In bid security validity period, 120 calendar days from the date of submission of bids. The form of bid security, cash or cashier manager's check issued by Universal or Commercial Bank. The amount of bid security is 2% of ABC. For bank draft, guarantee or irrevocable letter of credit issued by Universal or Commercial Bank, 2% of ABC. For surety bond callable on demand, issued by a surety or insurance company duly certified by the Insurance Commission or authorized to issue such security, 5% of ABC. The project requirements, which shall include the following: organizational chart for the contract to be bid, the list of contractors, personnel, the project manager, project engineers, materials engineers, and foremen to be assigned to the contract to bid with their complete qualification and experience data. The list of contractors' major equipment units which are owned, leased, and or under purchase agreements supported by proof of ownership of certificate of availability of equipment from the equipment lessor vendor for the duration of project, as the case may be. The original duly signed omnibus sworn statement, and if it's applicable, original notarized secretary certificate in case of a corporation, partnership, or cooperative, or original special power of attorney of all members of the joint venture, giving full power and authority to each officer to sign the OSSS in due acts to represent the bidder. The content of the second envelope, the financial proposal. Original of duly signed and accomplished financial bid form in accordance with the forms prescribed in Section 10 bidding forms of bidding documents. The original or duly signed bid prices and the bill of quantities. The duly accomplished detailed estimates form, including a summary sheet indicating the unit prices of constructions, materials, labor rates, and equipment rentals used in coming up with a bid, and the cash flow by quarter.
Bid evaluation. The financial component of the bids of each pass bidder shall be evaluated using non-discretionary criteria, including arithmetical corrections for computational errors, and thus determine the correct total calculated bid prices. The BAC shall automatically disqualify any total calculated bid price which exceed the approved budget for the contract. The following factors are to be considered in the evaluation of the bid prices. First, completeness of the bid. Bids not addressing or providing all of the required items in the bidding documents, including the bill of quantities, shall be considered non-responsive and thus automatically disqualified. No price in required item shall be considered non-responsive and thus automatically disqualified. Next, indicating a zero or a dash free to the government and all prices are deemed to include all taxes. For arithmetical corrections, first, bid prices and figures versus words prevail. Next, total price per item versus unit price per item as extended or multiplied by the quantity of the item, unit price prevails. Next, total price versus actual sum of component items, actual sum prevails. And unit cost and detailed estimate versus unit cost of bill of quantities prevails. And last, total calculated bid prices as evaluated and corrected for computational errors and other bid modifications which exceed the approved budget for the contract shall be disqualified.
For post-qualification, the post-qualification shall verify, validate, and ascertain the veracity, authenticity, and validity of all the Class A eligibility documents supporting the PhilJEP's Certificate of Registration and Membership in accordance with Section 8.5.2 of Revised IRR of RA 9184 and all the other statements made and documents submitted by the bidder using non-discretionary criteria. These criteria shall consider but shall not be limited to the following: legal requirements to verify, validate, and ascertain licenses, certificates, permits, and agreements submitted by the bidder, and the fact that it is not included in any blacklist as provided in Section 25.3 of Revised IRR of RA 9184. For technical requirements, verification and validation of the bidder's stated competence and experience, and the competence and experience of the bidder's key personnel to be assigned to the project. The verification of availability and commitment and our inspection and testing for the required capacities and operating conditions of equipment units to be owned, leased, under purchase by the bidder for use in the contract under bidding. Failure of the prospective bidder to state a complete technical description of the pledged equipment and the specific location shall result in the bidder's automatic post-disqualification for award of contract and forfeiture of its bid security per Department Order Number 58 Series of 2012. Checking the performance of the bidder in its ongoing government and private contracts, if any of these ongoing contracts shows negative slippage of at least 15% in one project or negative slippage of at least 10% in each of two or more contracts. Failure of the contractor to commence repair works and to complete ongoing contracts in the prescribed date after receipt of notice of defects and deficiencies. Failure of the contractor to commence repair works on contracts with pending certificates of acceptance in the prescribed date after the receipt of notice of defects and failures. Substandard quality of works or unsatisfactory performance per contract, term, and conditions at the time of inspection. Department Order Numbered 127 Series of 2018, strict application of RA 9184 in the conduct of the post-qualification of bidders with delayed ongoing contracts with the DPWH. Note, if the BAC verifies any of these deficiencies to be due to the contractor's fault or negligence, the agency shall disqualify the contractor from the award. Ascertainment of the authenticity of the bid security and its correctness as to type, amount, form, and wording, and validity period as required in the bidding document. For financial requirements, to verify, validate, and ascertain the bid price proposal of the bidder, and whenever applicable, the required committed line of credit in the amount specified and over the period stipulated in the bidding documents or the bidder's NFCC to ensure that the bidder can sustain the operating cash flow of the transaction. Notes on the personnel and equipment requirement of the project as per Department Order 9, Series of 2012, Technical Requirements for Civil Works Projects for Public Bidding. If a proposed key technical personnel is an employee of the bidder and working on another project at the same time of the bidder shall submit a certification that the personnel will be pulled out from the ongoing project once the bidder is awarded the contract, and he or she will be replaced with another person with equal or better qualifications as certified by the head of the implementing office. The bidder may propose a key technical personnel who is not its employee, provided that the said personnel is required to submit a certification that he or she will work for the bidder if it is awarded the contract under bidding. These certifications shall be included in the first envelope of the sealed bid. Also, to be verified during post-qualification is the set of equipment pledged by the bidder. The bidder should specify in the submitted bid the location of the equipment where they can be inspected. If any equipment is not specified location, then the bidder shall be post-disqualified. For the list of key personnel for all projects, we have project manager with 5 years minimum years of similar experience and 5 minimum years of total work experience. For project engineer, we have 3 years of similar experience and 3 years minimum years of total work experience. For project inspector, we have 2 years minimum years of similar experience and 2 minimum years of total work experience. For materials engineer 1, we have 2 minimum years of similar experience and 2 minimum years of total work experience. For safety officer, we have 1 minimum year of similar experience and 1 minimum year of total work experience. For foreman, we have 1 year of minimum similar experience and 1 year of total work experience. Lists of key equipments units may be owned, leased, and or under purchase agreements supported by certification of availability of equipment from the equipment lessor or vendor for duration of the project. For the list of key equipment units, you may refer to the posted bidding documents. The proof of ownership of equipment requirements are copies of current LTO official receipt and certificate of registration of the equipment, which should be attached together with the affidavit of ownership. In case of leased equipment, the lease of contract and affidavit of equipment should be submitted with the lessor or owner of the pledger of the equipment, stating therein that the equipment will be available for the whole duration of the project. For purchase agreement, the description of the equipment to be purchased, such as brand or model, type of equipment, motor number, body number, and the capacity must be indicated in the document. Otherwise, the bank will not honor the purchase agreement and the bidder will be declared as non-complying. Likewise, list of contractors' major equipment units pledged to be used for the project must be supported by proof of ownership if it is owned, lease agreement if it is being leased, and purchase agreement if to be purchased. A certification of availability of equipment for the duration of the project must also be provided by the equipment owner and or lessor or vendor. Prospective bidders or contractors are likewise required for the inclusion of the minimum materials testing equipment in the technical component of the bid, in compliance with Department Order Number 11 Series of 2017, superseding DEO Number 80 Series of 1990 and other issuances. All documents in support of the ownership of equipment pledge, CR certificate of registration and current LTO or official receipt, sales invoice, or official receipt if applicable, and other documents photocopied from the original shall be legibly readable and will be authenticated as needed during the post-qualification process. Corollarily, DEO number 58 series of 2012 dated August 29, 2012 further provides the inclusion of material data on the pledged equipment of a bidder by requiring all bidder or contractor to fully comply with the contract minimum equipment requirements as prescribed in the bid documents, a complete technical description of their pledged equipment, whether owned or leased, such as but not limited to the engine number, year model, chassis number, plate number, production and load capacity, availability, and operating condition. In addition, bidders were also required to state in the bid documents the particular place or site where the equipment are located, as provided for under DEO number 9 series of 2012. That failure to comply with the said requirements shall result in the bidder's automatic post-disqualification for award and forfeiture of its bid security.
The contract shall be awarded to the bidder whose bid has been determined to be the lowest, calculated and responsive bid as a result of the detailed evaluation and post-qualification conducted. Contract award should be made within the bid validity period. Subcontracting is not allowed. Common reasons for rejection of bids, ineligibility, and post-disqualification of bidders. Failure to submit the original copy of the surety bond certified by the Insurance Commission, indicating the name of project, the procuring entity, and the name of the contractor. Shorter bid validity and bid security validity period. Then overlapping of pledged equipment and committed key technical personnel. Failure to indicate the validity of bid in the bid form. Late submission of bid. Failure to submit supporting documents such as certification of availability of equipment from the equipment lessor vendor for the duration of the project if equipment pledge is to be leased or purchased. Negative slippage of at least 15% in any one project or negative slippage of at least 10% in each of 2 or more contract, and unsatisfactory CPS rating. Common errors in the submission of bids. Incomplete pages of bid for technical and financial documents. Authority of the signatory to sign on behalf of the bidder. For single proprietor, signatory should be the owner or proprietor only. And for the corporation and cooperative, board secretary certificate and board's resolution. And for joint venture resolution or agreement. And for the partnership, as indicated in the articles of partnership. Deadline for submission of clarification and amendments is on January 29, 2024, addressed to Cynthia Sica Igoy, Chairperson, or to El Napini Pomosino, Head Procurement Unit. Deadline for submission of bids, February 7, 2024, at 9 a.m. And the number of copies of bid proposal, 1 original copy of the first technical and second financial envelope of its bid. And the place of submission of bids, back or procurement office, DPWH Iloilo 4th District Engineering Office. To all prospective bidders, you may submit your bid either electronically or manually, pursuant to Department Order Number 87, Series of 2020, and submit your queries, if any, until January 29, 2024, at least 10 days from the opening of bids. Our pre-bid conference adjourned at exactly 10:38. God bless us all.